Hey folks, this is BestInSlot. Welcome back to the brand new Park Managers Collection Pack for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And in this video, we're actually going to talk about the free updates. So even if you don't buy the DLC, this is what you'll get updated to your games on PC and console for absolutely nothing. Now, it is worth mentioning, it is not a big free update. We're not getting the ones that we used to get in the past, but it's much better than getting no free update, which is what we got last time. Now, this free update has three main things. One of those is just bug fixes, general quality of life updates, that kind of jazz. The other one is, well, you're looking at it right here. Kelp, of course, has finally made it into the game. It looks pretty great, it must be said. It bobs slightly in the water. As you can see, it moves very slightly. It catches the caustics, the refraction of the water as well, makes it feel a lot more realistic. And I think when you've got megalodons and the like, and there is one in here somewhere, stalking through the water, it really helps them feel like they're slinking through a real environment. It gives our lagoons some much needed verticality. They've done a good job. It's a really needed upgrade. It's one we should have had from the start. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, especially because it's in the intro video for Evolution 2. But I'm not going to complain. It's a really cool addition, and it really makes your lagoons feel so much more naturalistic, so much more interesting to look at. I think it makes every creature in the game look cooler by default, just by having... Because look at the framing you get, you know, I think it's fantastic. Now, that's already pretty exciting, but the cool thing Frontier has done, and I've got to give them props here. I'm going to show you something. If we head through here, yeah, here you go. So I do not have free build installed, right? This is as dense as you can make the kelp in your games. This is how dense the kelp goes by default. You can make a proper, you know, I'm going to show you. You can make a proper kelp forest. We grab kelp one here. So you get three different kelp brushes. I'm going to show those more in a second. I shouldn't say the word brushes. They're not brushes. They are placeable items. But as you can see, the hitbox is right in the middle and it's tiny. So you can kind of go like this, rotate around, and you can really cram the kelp together. Now, it doesn't react to your animals, which is a little bit of a shame, but not surprising given how much bit we can put in here. But this is more of the kind of thing I want in Evolution. And if we're going to get a sequel, I'd love to see more things like this, where the hitboxes overlay and we get all this creative control, and you can just do this all you want, hold down the rotate key, and you've built yourself... I don't know why this keeps happening to me, this weird rotation. You can build yourself this really dense kelp forest, really, really dense, so you can't really see inside it at all. You definitely can't see through to the other side. And it just makes your animals... Oh, there's a megalodon in there somewhere. And it can kind of just encroach out of the darkness completely. It's really cool for your hunters, it's really cool for your prey. Doesn't that look fantastic? So even though it doesn't react to the animals, you maybe don't want the entire exhibit to look like this. I think it would still be worth doing. I think it's very, very cool, and I love that the hitbox is so generous, because usually it's the opposite. So yeah, big plus on the kelp for that. Now, as I said, there are three types of kelp, and whilst I don't have free build, I do have Kyle's toolbox, which means I can move things above ground using said toolbox. So these are the three different types of kelp in the game. This, I believe, is number one. And the main difference is, as you go up in number, the cluster gets more tightly contained. There's more kelp trees, more kelps inside each cluster. So this one's got 5, one here lilting over. And if we watch it here, you can see it is sort of slightly waving side to side. It's interesting it doesn't have the caustics by default. You know, that is actually added physically by the water in the game. But you can see it is swaying slightly, meant to be reacting to the movement of the water. So that's kelp 1. Kelp 2, as you can see, has more strands. The strands are a bit thicker as well, and they've got more lilty ones. And then kelp 3 is the real thicko over here. Lots of strands, big bushy ones, very good for making much denser kelp. So it's all roughly the same height. It would have been cool to maybe get a bit of variety in that as well, but I'm not going to be too picky about this. It's really cool to have in the game. It's a big plus, and I'm really glad that we've finally got it, and I think it makes a monumental difference to how cool our lagoons look. I just think that's so much cooler looking. Machinimas and stuff like that are going to go bonkers with this. But that is not all the free update contains. If we hop back to our main park just over here, we also appropriately have a new light. Now this is a new... It's called a Lagoon Light. It's a spotlight, basically, because we didn't really have a proper spotlight in the game as was. So it's this little metal spotlight sitting on this stone plinth, as you can see right here. And just a good view of what it looks like. It definitely has a lagoon sort of vibe to it, but it's useful to have above ground as well. And of course, like the others, that was a very cool lighting going on there. We can swap this into nighttime, and you can see that that's the default coloration, that kind of yellow. But of course, and also the size, by the way, look at it, it's human size basically. But of course, as with the other lights in the game, we can change the colors around a little bit, and this is what that'll look like as well. If you want to make yourself a little discotheque, which is the second time I've said that today, you can do it with the spotlights. Right, that is it for the free update. So there's 3 prongs to the free update. As I said, there's bug fixes and quality of life and stuff like that. Nothing that seems like I'm going to talk about it, basically. There is, of course, the new spotlights, and there's the new kelp. That's everything you're getting for free as part of the when the DLC comes out tomorrow. As I say, not a gigantic free update. I think those days are probably behind us now. It's worth keeping that in mind. If we get more DLC, I would expect accompanying free updates to be relatively small going forward. However, there's one last thing I want to show you, because I couldn't really do an individual video on Little Eatie. Little Eatie got added to the game, so I just want to make this very clear. This is not part of the free update. This is part of the DLC. You get the 4 species, and you get a new Little Eatie skin. I just didn't really know where else to put it. I didn't want to do a video just on a skin, so we're just going to pop it out now so you can take a look as well, in case you are interested. I have to clarify, not part of the update. It's in the DLC. It's funny, you would need this and the Camp Cretaceous DLC to get all the skins. So, that is Big Eatie, the one we're looking at here. That, of course, as I say, is from Camp Cretaceous, the DLC, and this is Little Eatie. So they are essentially identical. The pattern is all the same. Little Eatie just has some browner coloration, which is exactly what she has in the show as well. Just thought I'd give you a little glimpse of that for those of you who are curious about Little Eatie, basically. Little Eatie and Big Eatie are exactly the same size, but I don't make the rules. There she is, in all of her Little Eatie glory, for those of you who were curious. So, that is the free update, and also Little Eatie. Spotlights, kelp, and a few bug fixes. Yeah, it's not the big updates we used to get in the past, but as the team gets smaller and moves on to other games, that's kind of what it is. I hope, if there is more DLC coming, and I hope there is more DLC coming, that we do keep getting updates like this, that we keep getting at least little small additions to the game, because at the end of the day, it's just stuff they could put in Evolution 3 anyway, right? You've added the kelp here in Evolution 2, throw it in Evolution 3, why not? Seems like a logical thing to do to me. But who knows? I'm not a game developer. But either way, thank you so much for joining me for today's videos. I really hope you had a good time, and let me know what you feel about the free update. Are you disappointed it's so small, but maybe excited? Shut up. But excited about what it contains? Also shut up. I think the kelp is huge for our lagoon designs in general, and I think people will, when they get hold of it, feel what a big difference it makes. But we'll have to wait and see. It's very much a personal thing. Either way, I hope you've had a lovely time today. Stick around this week on the channel for, of course, plenty more content on this DLC and Evolution 2 in general. We're probably going to start a new park build now this has come out. I've been waiting for the next pack so I can get stuck in there and give it a proper go again. I know I keep trying, but this time I'll be successful. And of course, we'll do our dinosaur rankings and all that kind of jazz. Until the next time, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks very, very soon. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.